Welcome to the Teaching Autism and Special Education Community Podcast. Hi, I'm Nikki, a passionate special educator, autism advocate, resource creator with over a decade of experience, and you may know me as the face behind Teaching Autism. This podcast is your go-to place for practical tips, hands-on strategies, and inspiring and funny stories to support special educators all around the world, whether it's building independence, creating engaging lessons, or finding that elusive work-life balance. I'm here to help you thrive inside and outside of the classroom. Let's dive into today's episode and make a difference together. Hey friend, and welcome back to the Teaching Autism and Special Education podcast. Let's start with a scene that I think every teacher can relate to. You plan the perfect activity. You've got the visuals ready, the task box is prepped, the reinforcers are lined up, and your student takes one look at it and says, no. Or maybe they don't say anything at all. They cross their arms, they turn away, they hide under the table, or they head straight for the calm corner before you've even started. And you're standing there thinking, but we've practiced this, they can do this, why are they refusing again? And if that sounds familiar, you are not alone. Today we are talking about what to do when a student refuses everything, understanding why it happens, what's really going on under the surface, and how to gently re-engage without turning it into a power struggle. Because refusal isn't defiance, it's communication. And once you understand what it's telling you, everything changes. So first of all, I want you to reframe refusal. Let's completely change how we view it, because it's so easy to take it personally, especially when you've worked hard to create something fun or meaningful. But here's the truth. Refusal is almost never about you. Refusal is the student's nervous system saying, this feels too big, this is too unpredictable, it's too unsafe right now. And it's not disobedience, it's protection. And once you see it that way, your whole approach is going to soften, because you can move from how do I make them do this to how can I make this feel safe enough to try. Next, you're going to understand demand anxiety. Many of our neurodivergent students experience something called demand anxiety, and this is a stress response triggered by expectations or requests. It's not about being oppositional, it's about the loss of control. So when they see that a demand is coming, even a small one like sit down or get your pencil, their brain actually goes into fight, flight, or freeze. And the harder that we push, the more unsafe they feel and the stronger the refusal becomes. So instead of focusing on compliance, we focus on collaboration. The goal isn't to win the task, it's to reduce the anxiety around demands altogether. And then we're going to identify the pattern. So before you react, I want you to observe and ask yourself, when does refusal happen the most? What tasks or subjects trigger it? Is it tied to certain times of day or people? Does it follow transitions or sensory overload or social demands? And patterns reveal the why. So, for example, a student who refuses right after lunch might be overstimulated. A student who refuses only at group time might be anxious about noise or unpredictability. A student who refuses new tasks might have learned that avoiding work gets them relief. So once you find the pattern, you can target the real issue and not just the behavior. And then I want you to lower the demand. Now, this might sound counterintuitive, but when a student refuses, the first step is to reduce, not increase pressure. So if you keep pushing, you are going to escalate the fight-flight response. And if you back off too far, you are going to lose momentum. So instead, you adjust the demand to make it feel doable. So this might mean breaking the task into one micro step, reducing the time expectation. So let's do it for 1 minute. Offer in an easier version. Would you rather match pictures instead of words? Turning it into a choice. Do you want to do this one or that one? By lowering the pressure, you help the student regain a sense of control. And once they feel safe, they can engage again. And then you're going to give them choices and control. Choice is the antidote to anxiety. When students refuse, it often means that they feel trapped. So giving them even a small amount of control rebalances that dynamic. You can say, do you want to use a pencil or a marker? Do you want me to help or do it by yourself? Do you want to start with the top or the bottom row? All these choices communicate that you have power here, and when students feel power, they are less likely to fight against it. And then I want you to make tasks predictable. So refusal often comes from uncertainty. Students might not understand how long the task will take, what will happen next, or when they'll get a break. Visuals are your best friend here. Think first then boards, visual timers, finish boxes, visual task steps. When students can see what's expected, it reduces anxiety about the unknown. They're not saying no to the work, they're saying no to the uncertainty. And then you're going to incorporate interests. You can turn refusal into motivation by weaving in your students' favourite topics or sensory tools. If they love cars, add cars to the task. If they love dinosaurs, use dinosaur counting cards. If they love movement, make it a gross motor version. Engagement doesn't mean forcing attention. It means connecting through what's meaningful to them. And when students see themselves in the activity, that resistance is going to start to melt away. And I want you to remember to reconnect before the redirect. So when refusal kicks in, relationship beats reason. You can't logic a dysregulated brain back into learning. So before redirecting, I want you to reconnect. Sit near them. Use a calm, warm tone. Say something validating like, that looks tricky right now. Or, I can see you need a break. Or, I'm here when you're ready. And then wait. Because connection rebuilds safety and safety opens the door to engagement. And then you're going to use side door strategies. So when direct requests trigger refusal, try using a side door approach, subtle, low pressure ways to encourage engagement. So some of my favorites are the sneaky start, where you begin the task yourself and casually narrate, I'm just matching these two. I wonder where this one goes. The helper strategy, can you help me check if this one's right? The humour hook. So some light humour can break tension. I bet this sticker is faster than you. Side door strategies invite participation rather than demand it, and they make learning feel like play again. And then you're going to reinforce attempts and not just completion. So if the only time a student gets praise or reward is when they finish everything, you're setting the bar too high. So I want you to reinforce the try. You've touched the pencil, that's a great start. I love that you looked at the paper. Thanks for telling me you're not ready yet. That's great communication. Every step towards engagement deserves that recognition, and those small wins will build the confidence, and from that confidence, we're going to build that momentum as well. And then I want you to track the function of refusal. So if you are seeing like chronic refusal, it's worth collecting data, even informal notes, just to try and identify the function behind it. What is the student getting or avoiding through this refusal? Think of escape, avoiding work, noise, or people. Attention, seeking connection through those negative interactions. Control, needing autonomy over their choices. And sensory, avoiding uncomfortable input. So think touch and sound and texture. And once you know why they're refusing, you can then teach a replacement behaviour that meets the same need more appropriately. So one example, instead of running away, teach them to hand over a break card, because that's progress even if the academic task hasn't started yet. And learning when to pause and push. So not all refusals are equal. Sometimes it's okay to gently nudge, and other times you need to stop. So here's a quick guide. If the student is calm but hesitant, I would recommend gently prompting or offering choices. If the student is showing anxiety cues, so think of fidgeting, whining, I would say to lower the demand and use visuals. If the student is escalating, so think crying, hiding, aggression, I would pause the demand completely and regulate first, because teaching through dysregulation doesn't work. So just wait for the calm and then try again later. And then I would recommend to partner with families. So families often see the same refusal patterns at home. So you could try and ask them, what helps when your child refuses at home? Are there certain phrases or visuals that work best? Can we use the same strategies in both settings? Because when you're using those consistent approaches at home and at school, your students are going to feel safer and learn faster. Plus, it's going to build a stronger partnership instead of that blame and frustration as well. And then you're going to look for the long game. So refusal is one of those behaviors that just takes time to fade. Don't expect overnight change. Expect small progress over weeks. Track those micro wins, quicker recovery, fewer refusals, faster engagement. That is what real progress looks like. And over time, as trust builds and anxiety drops, that refusal will fade naturally. So the next time your student refuses everything, remember that they're not being difficult. They are actually communicating with you. They're trying to tell you that something feels too hard, too unpredictable, or too out of control. And when you respond with patience, curiosity, flexibility, you are going to show them that school is still a safe space, even when things feel big. So that refusal is just another way of them saying, I need your help. And you, with your calm, consistent presence, are exactly the person who will help them find their way back. And just remember, you are doing incredible work, even on the days when it feels like nothing is getting done, because safety, trust, and connection, those are the work. Thank you for listening and spending your time with me today. I hope you found this episode helpful, and I'll speak to you again soon.